Hello witchy people. I haven't made a lot of videos lately and I've kind of been off about it, and I saw someone do a VR to Ashley Michelle and her tag, Get to Know Your Witches tag, and I thought that would be the perfect medium to get me back into recording, and we all know how much I love a tag. So I have questions here. There are 15 questions, and I didn't actually watch the full video of anybody's replies to these, and I didn't look at the questions, so this is going to be one of the first times I see the questions. So I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm not too sure. I'm going to try not to be too flippant about it, but I don't want to go too deep and serious, so we shall see how it goes. Anyway, so Get to Know Your Witches tag. It was created by Little Cosmic Crow, but it was Ashley Michelle who tagged a load of us in our online coven to do it. So, question number 1. Does your sun sign portray you correctly? If not, do your other planetary signs? Well, my sun sign is Pisces, and I am very much a Pisces. So yes, it does. I could go on explaining sort of like what Pisces are like and everything, but basically I'm the good side. We're very friendly. We're very open. We fall in love very easily. We're very loyal. Makes me sound like a little dog, doesn't it? On the bad side, sometimes our head is so far up in the clouds we have no idea about reality. There you go. Question 2. What songs bring you the most magical vibes? Any song. If I'm honest, almost any song. I have a playlist on here called Songs to Live By, which has got a lot of songs on there that I really, really love. But on top of that, I also love Clannad and obviously Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks. There are just so many, so many. Etta James. I couldn't name them all. I like a lot of blues and soul music and a lot of chanting as well. But to me, when it comes to music, it's designed, it's there to give you a feeling, it's there to give you a reaction, and sometimes it's going to give you that music, that magical vibe, and you know, so any music, that's a huge sort of like open anything answer. So question 3. Which one of your deities, guides or ancestors is most sarcastic with you? If this doesn't apply to you, which of your tarot or oracle decks is? I don't have deities. I don't exactly have guides as such, and obviously I do have ancestors. Sometimes, and I know a lot of people have this anyway, sometimes my father passed away just over 5 years ago now, and sometimes I hear very much his voice in my head. Now sometimes it is just his voice in my head and I can imagine him saying something in reaction to what I'm doing. Sometimes I really feel like I am channeling my father. The other day, my neighbour was having a very late night party. It was a Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and it got to about 1:15 in the morning. The music was very, very loud. They were singing very, very loudly, and it just came over me that my father wouldn't put up with this stuff, only I didn't say stuff, and neither should I. And I went dressing gown on, put a coat over my dressing gown, went marching to next door, banging on the door, and when he opened up, he had a smiley look on his face. It wasn't my neighbour who opened the door, it was someone who he lent his keys to, and I became my father. And I'm not going to repeat some of the things I said because a lot of it was swearing. Very, very unlike me. But I think sometimes you do. I'm going back to the first question about your sun sign. There are a lot of my parents' sun signs characteristics that I find in myself. My father was a Capricorn, my mum is a Scorpio, so I sort of get that stubbornness, and Capricorns very much, I don't think I'm right, I know I'm right. They can be very much like that, so they're very decisive. And Scorpios obviously have the temper, that's the bad side. So I think really it was all of it just gathering in at once. So I do hear, it's not that I just hear a voice in my mind, sometimes I really do hear a voice of, usually it's someone who's passed away that I knew when I was alive, when they were alive. And I will hear them say something to me, you know, back your ideas up, get your ass out of bed, whatever it is, there'll be something. So, and I can't say to you, so my dad is most sarcastic with me. I don't necessarily actually have my dad talking to me. It's more of a feeling, which most people have anyway. You know, you hear your father's voice in your head. And I can't say that I have a tarot or oracle deck that is sarcastic with me either. I mean, there are quite a few. See, my grandma was an alcoholic, so sometimes she can get quite sarcastic. She died 30 years ago now. Crikey, am I that old? So let's go on to question 4. Your biggest witchy mess up or misinterpretation. I can't think of any. I know there have been some. I will let this out now. I had a slight argument, and if the person I had an argument with is out there, please accept my apologies, but I'm still not backing off. I had someone who basically told me that they were a pagan, and they were that their deity, their god, was Lucifer. And I found this quite difficult to get around, being that Lucifer is a Christian angel. So we had it, and I wasn't rude, and we had what started off as an almost discussion. And it ended up with me getting very sarcastic, saying, oh, so you think you're a Luciferian then? That they, obviously it was, I think, and don't get me wrong, I love the programme Lucifer. And for any of you fans out there in England, the 4th season has just started on Netflix. So I love the programme. I just think that some people watch these programmes like Lucifer or Charmed. There's a new series of Charmed with new characters. Or they'll watch a film, you know, like Witches of Eastwick or something, and they seem to think that this is what witchcraft is all about, and that's what they base their whole thing on. And I think it's not necessarily wrong, it's just that you can't expect everyone to take you completely seriously if you're not really taking it seriously yourself. Maybe, but it was a huge misinterpretation of, I think, this, but he wasn't explaining himself very clearly, and so I misinterpreted what he was saying. I didn't understand his point of view. Much as I tried, I still couldn't understand, and we got into an argument, and I was actually quite rude to him. So if you're out there, I apologise, though I have blocked you, so I don't think you have been. Okay, number 5. Would you write a book on your craft or spirituality? Why? If you already have, what were your challenges in doing so? Anyone who's got a YouTube channel is writing their own book. It's just a different way of doing it. I would love to write a book on hedge witchery as I see it, because there are some books, and some viewers may know my point of view on a certain book. I think this is just my opinion, that people don't understand what hedge witchery is, because they have been misinformed by certain books, perhaps even websites, blogs, all sorts. So I would like to write a book on what I believe hedge witchery is, because it's not understood. A lot of people think, you know, hedge witches are just people who gather herbs from hedges. That's not what we do. Well, we do, but that's not why we're called hedge witches. But like the challenges in doing this, I mean, we all have our own grimoires or book of shadows, book of dreams, book of light, whatever you want to call it. And that, of course, is our book of spirituality, our book on our craft. Excuse me. And I think, you know, so that is there anyway. We all have that, or most of us do. Or we have an online blog or a vlog or YouTube channel. And I think it's all part of the same thing. And the challenge we have is trying to make other people comprehend how we follow our path, and to try and find that niche that we all fit into. I think it's quite difficult. So most people are so eclectic that when you try to explain your own path and your own spirituality, you have to compare it to a dozen other more well-known paths, because most of us are eclectic, very eclectic, and I think that's always a challenge. So, number 6, if someone wanted to summon you to their circle, what 5 items would they need? Oh, that's a good one. I was going to be quite flippant and just say that, I don't know, chocolate, wine. But no, what would they need? You would need to have, I think, a good place with a good fire. So, you know, you would have to have a blazing fire. You would have to have some really, really good food, and it would have to be vegetarian or vegan, because I can't eat animal products. I miss bacon. Oh. Anyway, so it would have to be vegetarian or vegan food, and it would have to be a good spread as well. You would have to have good company, so interesting people, which is a lot of people I've known online. And even people that I've only exchanged 1 or 2 words with, I would love to be there. So yeah, oh dear, so the fire, the food, the company. You'd have to have a good atmosphere, but you'd get that with everything else. And oh, I don't know what else. Music, maybe. Some really good music that everybody likes. Maybe. Number 7, if you were a ghost, what place would you haunt? Oh, everywhere. I would haunt Burley, Deerleap, that's all in the New Forest. I would haunt Western Shore, Leap, which is another piece of the coastline. Yeah, everywhere I grew up. So many places, and every house I've ever lived in. Probably some I haven't as well. I would definitely haunt. It's a place called Mayfield Park, and I'd like to haunt there. I would love to haunt Deerleap, which is where the deer are in the New Forest. I just like mingling in with all the deer, spook the deer slightly, and scare the living bejeebies out of everyone else. Yes, I would do that. That would probably be my favourite places, and probably Burley, just, you know, for the fun of it. What is, question 8, what is the funniest way someone has reacted to you finding out you're a witch? Oh yes, okay, I know. I actually, most people kind of get to know me as being a witch anyway. If it comes out, people aren't too surprised. The best reaction I ever had apart from, of course, my granddaughter, who was like, do you have any poisons? I want to poison somebody. I'd bumped into an old friend who I hadn't actually seen since my wedding, and so it must have been a good 15, 16, 17 years after I was married, so I hadn't seen them for quite a long time. And how they didn't know I was a witch anyway is beyond me. But we were talking, and this friend of mine had been married, or had gotten married himself, and I knew her slightly, and we were talking, and she noticed that I had my jewellery on, and she said, "Oh, you've got a pentacle and stuff." I said, "Yes." "You must be a witch then." And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Oh, thank goodness for that. I just thought you were weird." Love that. Question 9. Do you have any superstitions? Ah, crikey. I do, and there's so many that I couldn't list them. I doff, when I see magpies, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, and say, no, morning or afternoon, Mr. Magpie, I won't walk under a ladder. I cross sticks when I see a rainbow in the sky. That's very, very southern English thing to do. I count oak leaves as they fall. Superstitions, you know, red sky at night. Too many. Everything is a superstition. I love all of that. Question 10. If you could possess any fantasy magic, what would your power be? Oh, I would like to be able to conjure anything with a click. Just, there you go, done. And conjure anything I wanted to with a click. I think that would probably be, I have no, I have no wishes to have electricity from my fingers, or to fly off somewhere, or walk through walls, or anything like that. No, not at all. But yes, I think I'd like to be able to conjure anything with a click of my fingers. Number 11. What is something random on your altars? That's quite strange, because I don't actually have my altar set up as an altar. It's actually got a wicker basket on it at the moment, and a couple of Doctor Who toys, which are going to go on eBay at some point, because my altar is just, this house is in flux at the moment. We've got so much going on, so everything's dumped in there. I have actually been downstairs because I wanted to clean up a few things on I do have some shelves, and on my shelves I keep a lot of stuff, and I have one shelf that seems to have a lot of what most people would have on their altar, but not necessarily at the same time of year. So, something random on my altar. I have 3 things here that, funny enough, I picked up off my altar earlier today. So one of them is a piece of deer antler, and it is real deer antler, and I always think it's so strange because it feels so fake. I have some fake deer antler, and it feels almost identical to real deer antler. Not quite the same, but there. So that's the deer antler. So I have that. I might as well show you what else I got. My little box with my favourite pendulum in it, which is an amethyst pendulum. So that's one of the other things that I happened to pick up. I just think it's so strange that I picked these up. And a little candle holder, which is in the shape of 2 oak leaves, and that's a wade, or some, no, it's not spode, it's definitely wade, which I won off of eBay. Okay, number 12. If one of the YouTubers you watched was a genie and they could grant you 3 wishes within their power, who would it be and what wishes? And it can't be for more wishes. Can I pick 3 YouTubers to be genies and have 1 wish off of each? That would be great. Yes, I would. I would like to pick 3, and my first one would be Drew. She who walks between the worlds, because she's so honest and quirky. And no matter what I wish from her, I think my wish would be not quite as I expected it to be. And I think that would be amazing. So yes, that would be one. I would pick Brittany, Palm Tree Witchery, because she's very, very quirky good. Very how do you explain Brittany? She's a law unto herself. And if I had a wish from her, it would be straight down the line. That's what you wish for. That's exactly what you're getting. And I think that would be quite funny. And who else? Oh, there's a few. Possibly Beanbag Hagwag. Patricia, and I think I would pick her and a wish from her. You can be my genie for the day, and I would wish, and I like her because she has a very offside way of looking at things, and sometimes it always makes perfect sense, but it's not necessarily the way you would see things, but the way she sees things, it always makes perfect sense. So out of those three, for Drew, I would ask for, oh gosh, this is so difficult. Drew, my genie for the day, I would ask from you and make a wish that three wishes. This is ridiculous. I would wish that you would make me taller. How selfish. I'd like to be taller. I am the perfect weight for my height if I was a lot taller. So, Drew, I would ask you to make me taller. Brittany, I would ask for you to redecorate my craft room so that everything had a place. And from Patricia, I would ask that for one day when anyone talks to me, they sing. I don't know where this is coming from. Okay, there you go. I did say that I was going to take this not seriously at all. Okay, number 13. If you could instantly become an expert in any part of your craft or spirituality, what would it be? I would like to become a total expert on herbs. I would like to, would it be tarot? No, it would be herbs. Because I do know something about them and I am quite good with them. But I'm not the best at identifying necessarily. I know what I grow in my garden because I'm growing it. And I can identify a lot of trees and weeds to a certain extent. But there's some I just don't. So I would like to become an absolute professional ace on anything to do with herbs, and that would be their folk names and their folk uses, mostly that, folk names and folk uses. So that would be my choice. So number 14, when you die, what do you think would happen to you or your soul? Now this always surprises people when I answer this. Many people know my mum, for the past 20 years or so, has been a born-again Christian. So she believes in heaven and hell. And I said to her, we had a discussion about what happens when you die. And I said to her, my idea of hell would be heaven. She gave me the strangest look. I said, because to me, the most hellish thing that anyone could ever do to me is to say, you can now have eternity. You can go on forever. That is my idea of hell. And I'm a hedge witch, so I talk to spirit, I communicate with ghosts. So you would think that I'm going to say, oh, when you die, you know, you become a ghost. And I don't think that's true. I think you can. I think you have the choice. I think your energy, your spirit, can go on for a certain amount of time if that's what you want. But I think eventually all energy just evolves. All energy gathers together and evolves and is used in another way. And I think that's all it is. I'm hoping the only way I live forever is in the memory of my descendants. That's it. So number 15, where do you see yourself spiritually in the next 5 years? That's a difficult one for me because of the problems I have with memory and my brain. In 5 years I may be not remembering much of anything at all. So I would like to be outside occasionally. I'm agoraphobic. I haven't left my house. I actually haven't left my house. I did leave my house yesterday. I went into the car, which is right outside my door, so I don't even have to go up a pathway. It's right outside my door in the car, simply because I had to take my some of my pets to the vets, and it was a necessity, but it was uncomfortable and I didn't like it. I don't go out, and I would like to be able to go gather stones on the beach and go to the forest again. I haven't been to the forest in so long, and do all those things. So spiritually I would like to be more open to being able to share myself, get outside and commune with nature and have more of outside than just my garden. So, and I think in connecting more in that way, I will be able to connect more with other people, because I'll have more to talk about. I'll have more of an opinion. I'll have more, this is what I did today, you know, other than this is my house and this is my garden. So there we go. That's it. That's my 15 questions. And I'm going to see how this turns out. So hopefully it hasn't been too long. And if it has, I'm going to start editing. So there we go. Thank you for watching, witchy people. I will leave all links below. Bye for now.